we're just excited, really to get back out here in our own city and like we've done before, give back. And the way we give back is by football knowledge. And especially, we're very excited to work with the young kids. That one's almost full. That one's pretty much full already, right. And I'm sure it will be after this interview, full after this. And but the high school group, is something, where more of what we're going to be able to tell them can apply to the field quicker, because they can handle more, obviously, and they're a lot farther along on their journey of trying to be a quarterback and all those things. So it's something that I always had my dad and my brother to give me advice when I was that age, and we're sitting here offering advice to these kids that that NFL coaches have taught us, and so we're just trying to give it to them.
And you had one heck of a rookie year. What's the biggest thing that you took away from that year?
Oh man, just really how hard it is in that league to win. My mentality has always been hardworking, all these things, and when I got there, that's pretty much how everyone is. So I had to take mine. I had to somehow figure out, how do I take this to a whole nother level, because I'm trying to be one of the best to ever do it. And that's kind of how that rookie season went for me. I figured out how I can do those things and how it performed on the field when I did it. So hopefully we'll continue.
And you're always somebody who's always talked about keeping an even keel. I remember even after you won that first game, I could see in the press conference, you weren't trying to be too excited.
Yeah.
Was it tough for you not to have those peaks and valleys emotionally?
Yeah, because that's another thing that I've been taught is emotionally this game goes like this, especially as the levels you get higher in the professional level as you go. I understood that as soon as that day was over, I had to get ready for another game. So that's just how the NFL works. So once we win a Super Bowl, I'll be a little bit more excited.
You've got a winning culture coming in with Jack Del Rio, I'm sure. He comes from a really winning culture. What were your first impressions of him?
He's awesome. Our whole team is going to love him. Not everyone's gotten to meet him yet. I just happen to live close by, so I get to meet him. And I tell you what, man, our guys are going to love him. They're going to love playing for him. And we're expecting really great things.
You've got a new offensive coordinator that comes with that. Do you feel like you're going to play in a more up-tempo offense this season, kind of similar to Fresno State?
Yeah, they're gonna. What they want to do is really build it around my strengths. They want to take what I do well and what comes easiest for me and do a lot of those things. So if it is up tempo, that'll be a part of what we do to keep the defense on their toes. And maybe it's me running a little bit more. Maybe it's me doing these things a little bit more. Whatever it is, we're going to make people account for everything.
And speaking of running, you had some runs that maybe surprised some people. You surprised a lot of people this season. Did you kind of get that sense? I know you didn't surprise yourself.
Yeah,
maybe you did a little bit.
No. What was funny to me is, you hear, oh, he played at Fresno State. He played at a small school. You hear all the draft stuff. Yeah. And my whole mindset was, no one can say anything about my work ethic. And when I get out here, we'll show them. And when I got out there, my number one goal is to, take the talents and abilities God has given me and give them back my effort. That's what I do. I wasn't going back to prove people wrong and all those things. Don't get me wrong, when we do certain things, I'd just laugh because they'd be like, hey, we didn't think that you could do that. I guess you really didn't watch the tape, I guess, I don't know. But to get out there and finally do it on the professional level, I guess hushed a lot of that stuff up.
A lot of what I heard during the season was you have a vision for the Raiders. You've got it in your head what it's going to look like in the future. What is that vision?
Yeah, the championships. And it's got to be a championship mindset every single day. Even my mindset now is different than it was last offseason. It's always, like I said, hardworking and all those things. But, I know exactly how to do it. I know exactly what I want to get done. And going into it now, I'm the guy. It's not you're the guy for the future. You're the guy now. Here's the keys to the franchise. Let's go win championships. So that's how we're building a thing, and now I can take and just go be myself. Go be the leader instead of taking that backseat role at the beginning. It's nice to just go out and do it.
And it seems like it's all set up for this to be a new era in Raider football. You've got all the cap space. You've got the number 4 pick in the draft. A new head coach, and Reggie McKenzie is starting to put his hands on this roster. Doesn't it just seem obvious to you that it's just the start of a new era in Raider football?
Oh yeah, I hope people jump on the bandwagon now, because they're not going to be very welcome later on. I'll always welcome them, but I'm sure certain people won't. I think that right now we're at a really good place in our franchise. We obviously have gone through hard times. Last year was hard, but you saw the potential that we have with our young guys. We're a really young team. I know guys like Charles and Tuck, bring our average age up just a little bit. But generally, our young guys had to play a lot than you ever want your young guys to play. But it's only going to benefit us for the next, 8 to 10 to 12 years to come. Hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. But you could see definitely Reggie putting his stamp on everything, and Mr. Davis has given him full control. Him and Coach Del Rio have been getting after it. So, like you said, we got a great pick. And you think about the next pick, the second-round pick. They have the same pick where I got selected last year. So they can do a lot of great things with that.
Are you going to call those guys up when they get picked?
Oh yeah, they'll definitely be hearing from me, and not just one or two. I'm going to reach out to all of them, hopefully get in contact with all the picks.
And what would you tell them about, when you talk to that guy on the phone, what message do you want to send to that guy?
Number one is congratulations. You've worked your tail off to get to this point, and you deserve it, man. It is awesome. A lot of people think, oh, they haven't earned it yet. No, they earned that exact spot. They did all the hard work to get to that point. They earned that spot, but now it's time for them to earn another spot. That's making the team and all those things. But I'll call those guys and just congratulate them, first of all. Tell them how blessed they are just to be here. But with all that said and done, I don't care where you were picked, whether it's the first guy I call or the last guy I call. Your number one job is to help us win a Super Bowl. And so that'll be the message that gets across.
What do you think are some of the misconceptions about your organization?
Oh, the traditional ones. We're bad people, all these kind of things, all those kind of things, and people are going to start seeing different things once we start winning. I hope that they've seen a little bit of the change in culture in the last couple of weeks that we played. We're beating playoff teams. We're knocking teams out of the playoff run. We're knocking out teams that are supposed to beat us by 21 points and all those things. So hopefully people saw a little bit of a difference. Obviously we need to get better. There's a lot of work that needs to go in. We're not there yet, but we're really close.
So what are your goals for this year then?
Super Bowl. From now, my goal last year, because going into it, they told me I'd be the future. So my number one goal is just to get better. So that was my goal. I need to get better to help this team win somehow. And when I got to play, now I want to win a Super Bowl. But now I have a whole offseason to train my mind and to get our team ready. Super Bowl is the only thing that we want to do.
And what was the biggest change when you actually went into that NFL game? Everyone says speed. Is speed it?
Yes.
Is that the bottom line?
It's the bottom line. There's other little things, but the number one difference with the NFL is the speed is ridiculous. It's unlike anything I've ever dreamed of or ever heard of. You hear people critique these guys that play, and I'm not even talking about myself, I could care less, but you hear them say stuff about other guys, and they have no clue how fast it is and how hard it is out there. They don't understand, and it just drives me nuts for those guys. But that, and then just how smart everybody is. I make a check early on in a game, and I go to make the same check, and the defensive guy knows what that check is already, and he's calling it out, changing their defense to stop our play. It's crazy stuff like that. So then I have to think, so then it's a chess match. Now, next time I go out, I'm going to make the same check, but it means nothing, and make him change so I know what he's changing to and call that route. It's a big-time chess game.
So it's not only physical, but you have to up your mental game tenfold.
Absolutely.
So, I've heard a lot about when a quarterback gets drafted, it might benefit him to sit for a year.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Would you say that is correct, or does it just go on a case-by-case basis?
Well, it depends on the player, honestly. It depends how they can handle things mentally. And not only the knowledge of a playbook and NFL defenses and blitzes and all that, how can they handle success? How can they handle failure? Is this guy that you're going to have lead your franchise, when he goes out and throws 3 or 4 picks and maybe throws a pick to lose the game, how's he going to react on Monday? Is he going to come in with a sad face, or is he still going to be the first guy in at 4:30 in the morning?
And how do you explain your mentality? Because your mentality to me is what sets you apart from a lot of other young guys.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Really, it's how I was raised. I got it from my dad. My dad taught me that I was going to work for everything, and that was even playing him in basketball. He never let me win. I was going to work to beat him. And I don't think I beat him, until I was way older, into my teenage years, because he was going to show me, no matter what, I'm going to work for everything. And so my dad raised me to work for absolutely everything that I have.
And do you ever have those low moments, but you don't maybe show them in public because that's what a leader does?
Oh, absolutely.
You're not
I'm human.
superhuman. Exactly,
I'm
that's
human.
what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. There's thoughts that go through my head of, my goodness, that was tough. That was hard.
What was the lowest
kind
point?
Of things. I think when we were 0-10, I've never been 0-10 in my entire life. I at least tied a football game in 8th grade, and I didn't go 0-10. I've never done that before, and that was hard. I remember coming home telling my wife, and And I told her, and it was right after the game. I was like, babe, this is really hard. And she's like, I know. And then I told her, I was like, but I'm going to wake up and go to work tomorrow. So there's always a but. You know, I'm always going to express how I feel. But there's always a but because I'm never going to stop working.
And that's what you've always said is no matter what happens on the football field, I can handle it because I've handled more in real life. But now you know for sure you can handle anything on the football field, right?
Yeah,
After
absolutely.
that rookie year.
Oh, my goodness. I've never been hit so hard in my life. There was a couple times there where, you know, I got hit. There was a couple times in college, but, you know, in this league, just I got hit a couple times, and that is unlike anything you've ever experienced.
Who is the guy who you looked?
I'm not going to give them any credit. I'm not going to give them any credit, but because they didn't know either. Because I popped right up like nothing was wrong, but they definitely got me good.
Was there a guy in the league that you looked at him and you're like, oh my gosh, there's whoever?
Oh man, every week.
Every week?
Every week. It was like the first time we go out there, it's like, first of all, you're like, oh, Rex Ryan is calling the defense. You're like, he's going to blitz me every play. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you just look out on the field and you just see, oh wow, there's Sherman, there's Earl Thomas, there's Michael Bennett. You know, you play J.J. Watt and all these things. And I was talking to J.J. and it's so crazy to me that I was just playing college football, playing with these guys on Madden.
But then by the end of the season, you felt like you were maybe their peers because I know that you grew into a leadership role on that team. I know you did. Coach Sperano told you this is your team.
Yep.
And did you feel by that time you were ready to take on that leadership role? Were you surprised that you were able to do that so quickly?
Yeah, and you could see it as the weeks went on, as you know, as more film gets out there, how the other defenses would treat me. You know, the things that they would say weren't rookie things anymore. They would say, hey man, you just keep working. I know it's hard right now, but you're going to be a great one. Those kind of things. And you know, as a young player, to gain respect of other teams that you're playing and other players that you're playing, like I think one of the Denver corners said something really nice, you know, and to me. And just for him to say that, as someone I play against, he's a Pro Bowl player, and that's when you start earning their respect, and you're not really a rookie anymore.
So it'll be so sweet when you guys actually do attain your goals.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from where you are and that organization, because it's so rich in history, when you guys actually attain those, it'll be so great. Oh,
absolutely, and you know, there's nothing like Raider Nation, man. As everyone knows, they may hate it or love it, but there's nothing like it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Derek. Looking forward to Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.